Oh,
okay, guess we're done.
I didn't fade out. Oops, sorry. I am on the money today. Welcome to the ugly truth. God. So ridiculous.
Oh, well.
So on the last show, I was telling you about Cincinnati and the food, and everything was fantastic. Everything is so hearty, filling, and rich and delish.
Oh, okay. I can get on board with that.
Yeah, totally. Like we went through Findlay Market is this very well-known, iconic outdoor market or outdoor market. It's like a supermarket that's open all the time, but it's all local.
Okay.
So you walk in, it's kind of like Oxbow, if you've ever been to Oxbow in Napa, or you walk, or the one in San Francisco on the pier where you walk in and there's like a million different vendors.
Oh, the Embarcadero?
Embarcadero, yes. That's basically what it is.
Love that. And there's like local cheese,
everything.
Artistry, people,
Absolutely.
and all that. Bread.
Yes.
All that. Yes.
So
fun.
Yeah, it was amazing. So we walk in.
I hear Seattle's like that, like Pike's Market.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think almost every really great foodie city has it.
Should.
So we walk in and it's like every third vendor is meat. There's so much meat.
Like beef?
Pork, beef, chicken, like anything.
And it's all local.
It's all locally sourced,
and...
you know. And then there was a pierogi section. I love pierogies more than anything in the world. I went through...
who doesn't love a stuffed dumpling with potato or whatever they put in them?
And sausage and cheese.
My mouth is watering.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. We're drinking champagne and talking about food.
I went through a pierogi phase about 12 years ago.
Were you making them?
No, I was buying them. I got so fat.
Oh, Jamie.
Stephanie.
It's like worse than pasta. I think it's like pasta and potato.
I couldn't stop eating. I'm like, what are these amazing
Where'd you buy them from, like Trader Joe's and stuff?
Just the grocery store.
Well, yeah, because I've had those.
I mean, I think what happened is I think I bought some handmade ones somewhere. And I went, I think we went to like a German restaurant or something, and or Polish or whatever, and I bought some. I'm like, well, what are these? These are so amazing when you eat them with sour cream and dill. And I was just like,
Jamie.
So then I went to the grocery store and I said, hey, they sell pierogies at the grocery store?
Yes.
And they were so expensive. And I just started, I would buy them every grocery trip and I would eat them immediately.
That's like when I buy poke at the grocery store. It's like $19.99 a pound.
Yeah, but if you're the only one eating it.
I'll take 2 pounds.
You're the only one eating it. Who cares?
$40.
You're like, yep, and I'm going to eat it all and it's going to be
delicious.
The
first one will be eaten by the time I'm like undone packing the groceries. So the second one's for tomorrow.
This is just a little snacky snack to get me through.
I mean, who eats poke in the middle of the night? Me. I'm not kidding.
I wish I could. You know what? I remember when I was in my early 20s and I would get up in the middle of the night on payday because I was so poor. I would go and buy myself a deluxe Mexican food meal.
Right.
And a 6-pack of beer. And I would do it every other week, every other payday.
Treat.
It was my treat. It was the one thing that I would
look
forward to.
The only thing.
And I would savor it. But I couldn't, because I was 20 and tiny, I couldn't eat the whole thing.
Well, I still can't.
No, it's a lot.
I order enough sushi for 2 people.
It takes you 2 days to eat it.
And it does.
Yeah.
I just finished the last of my rolls this morning.
And I remember I would get up at like 2 a.m. every Saturday morning after that. And I would open the fridge and I would just start eating it.
And it's so freaking
good.
And
it's so good.
Mexican food is one of those foods that I can eat freezing cold. It doesn't fucking matter.
They had homemade tortillas.
Jamie, stop.
What are we doing? What is happening?
Well, and that's the thing about where we live, though.
God.
There is Mexican food everywhere, and most of it is really good.
Pretty tasty.
It is.
I did ask. So Daryl's colleague kind of showed us around downtown Cincinnati, and it's so eclectic and beautiful. They're known for their mural artwork. There's so much of it. There's just the amazing food and environment. I don't know. It's so different than I expected.
Really in love with Ohio.
It was so different than I expected. I think that I was so surprised. I'm like, this is amazing. So like I said, I told her, I'm like, we could live here. He goes, we couldn't live here. Yeah. It's no. I'm like, okay, fine. But I want to go back.
I'm glad you loved it, but
I did. But
if you live there, imagine like, okay, we don't want to be in Ohio. We want to go somewhere for the weekend. Where are you going?
Florida.
Florida.
Yeah. So we had an amazing time. Now, I have not kept this a secret. I play video games online.
Yes,
I play World of Warcraft. I love it. Well, I've been playing with some of these people for like a decade, like a really long time. So
I think a lot of people can relate with that.
I think so. Yeah. So I was low-key invited to somebody's surprise party. Somebody I game with, he was having a birthday, and his girlfriend, partner, invited me.
Yeah.
And she goes, I know, obviously I'm just inviting you because I know he would love it if you could come, but obviously I
get it.
I would never expect you to make it. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I was
just wanted you to know that we would like you here, even if in spirit.
And it was a surprise party. And so I told Daryl, I said, yeah, I got invited to a surprise party for some friends that I game with, and it's in Cincinnati. And he goes, oh, that's weird. I have to go to Cincinnati sometime this year. And I go, you do? And he goes, yeah. He goes, well, when's the party? So I told him, and he goes, we could make that work. And I'm like, let's make it work. And so that's why I tagged along so we could go to this party.
That was actually really sweet of Daryl.
It was very sweet.
If you think about it.
And so when I told her, I said, I think I'm going to come to the party. She's like, what? Oh my God. Yeah. Yes. And I said, but can my husband come? I said, I'll pay for him.
Yeah.
And she's like, 100% yes. And so I'm like, okay, cool. So it's about 20 minutes outside of downtown.
Okay.
And so we Ubered out.
That's nothing.
We Ubered out. Rural Cincinnati is amazing.
I mean, it's so beautiful.
It's so
pretty.
Does
it smell like grass?
Everything is like grass. It's lush. It's all the houses have wraparound,
porches,
decks, and where this little restaurant was, it was like a little Carmel. There was all these cute little boutique shops.
Nice.
The second Kroger ever in the history of the grocery store is there.
Oh my gosh.
And they're like, yeah, that's our grocery store. And I'm like, what? I mean, it's so Americana. Mm-hmm. Like, it's so Americana. I think that's why I was so in love with it. And so, the restaurant is like, they're like, yeah, the restaurant's 200 years old. And so I'm walking up the stairs going, yes, I can tell, because they're very squeaky stairs. But it's like this colonial two-story house that they converted into a restaurant. Heavy pours, girl. They don't mess around with the booze.
Well, they're not turning him and burning him like every restaurant and place in California where they're like yeah, we're serving 200 people tonight. Like, move it along.
There was a champagne bar, and it was all set up with like 3
those places are dangerous
bottles of champagne, and so I was pouring, and they had like big buckets of berries, so you could make your own whatever.
Nice.
So I had like 2 little glasses, like a 2-ouncer. It was great, and I'm just like being cool. Yeah. The bartender goes, we're done with this. And she gives me this giant Chardonnay glass.
Oh, God.
And fills it up halfway with champagne. She goes, here you go.
It's like a goblet.
Yes. And everybody, they were transitioning everybody
into goblets?
To these goblets. They're like, no, we're done. It's time to party.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh my God, I like it here.
That would be fun.
It was so fun.
I always have to be careful with places like that because I start having too much fun.
Well,
the next thing you know, you can't remember.
Yes. Well, I definitely maintained myself.
Yeah.
And Daryl, of course, he's my supervisor. He's never going to let anything happen.
As long as he's not with his brother.
No kidding. So the birthday boy comes in and he looks right at me and keeps walking because we've never met.
Of course.
He has no idea who I am.
I wonder if it, in his mind, he's like, wait.
First of all, I can't tell you how much I would hate it if I was given a surprise party.
I would hate it too.
I would hate it so much.
I would absolutely hate it.
I would not. I'd be like, no. Right? Immediately no.
Turn around and walk out. Bye.
I would be like, absolutely not. I don't know who thought this was a good idea.
No.
You don't know me at all. But he loved it. And there was like 60 people there.
Wow.
It was a big turnout. And it was like, hey, happy birthday. I got a little emotional because he was emotional. And I'm like, this is so amazing. So finally his girlfriend goes, look who's here. And he's like, hi. And he looks right at me. He's like, hello. And he's looking at me like, I know I'm supposed to know you. And I go, it's me. And he's like, oh my God, it is you. Oh
my God, how weird.
So we're hugging and everything. And Daryl, he's like, I got pictures. And I look at the pictures. I'm like, delete those immediately.
Yeah, because I'm not looking.
That's my back.
And they're side shots or back shots.
Stop it. He's like, it's so sweet. I'm like, delete.
No.
Erase. I don't need any photos.
I told you my bestie took a back picture of me. And when I looked at it, my response to her was, I hate you. I'm like, even my back is ugly.
Stop it.
My back is huge.
I'm like, I don't like the way the hump, it looks like a hump. Stop.
I just look like a linebacker. I'm like, oh my God. I said, I just deleted that from my phone. Fucking delete it from yours.
He's like, all right. And he gets panicked. He's like, okay.
Well, it's because our reaction's so strong.
Well, it's aggressive.
I know.
And I'm like, why do you take pictures when you know I'm going to make you delete them? He's like, just in case you like it. I'm like, I'll never like it. I'll never like a picture in the back of my head. Ever. God. And
much less include portions of my body from the back.
Jesus Christ. I met so many interesting people. Like
at the party?
Yes. Because everybody's like, who are you? Because they didn't know
you must have turned into a celebrity in like a second.
Well, and Daryl's like, oh no, he was really happy to see you there. And I'm like, I didn't expect any time with him because first of all, I was a last minute addition. Like, it was great that I was there, but it's not like we were going to have time to chat and catch up,
get to know each other in a real.
No, he was overwhelmed. His mother was there. Like there was no way that I was going to spend any time with this man. I mean, not really.
I know what you mean.
So, but I was just grateful that I got to go and see his social group.
How amazing! Yeah, and yes, and I'm sure he was thrilled that you were there. But like you said, it was overwhelming, and it feels weird when you have an online person there with your real friends.
Yeah, I think
family.
So. I think so. Yeah. And there was one other guy that he plays video games who was also there. So we actually talked quite a bit, which was nice. I loved it.
Well, at least that could have gone two ways, and at least it didn't go the bad one.
You know what? I had such a good time. And so we get in the car and we're on our way home. And I go, that was like a fever dream. Like, I don't even know what just happened.
Yeah.
I said,
how fun.
This is going to sound weird. I go, but I feel like I had a cerebral orgasm. Like, it was so mind-blowing to be in this tiny little town
in Ohio
with 50 people I've never met in my life.
Right.
And I had such a good time. Like,
that is so fun.
That's insane, right?
No, but it's great.
It was great. It was so great. And no awkward moments, thank God.
Thank God.
No falling, no nothing.
Yeah.
So the travel home, we had a couple. We get to our gate, we go in, and I'm like, I need a salad, I need water, I need no more rich foods.
Right.
I feel like everything's been swimming in gravy. It's delicious, but I need like fresh.
I need some freaking
I need something.
Vegetables.
So we get
fruit. Something.
I got fruit. I got a little thing of berries, whatever. So we're sitting at the gate, and they're like, ladies and gentlemen, our flight is very, very full. Does anybody want to
the theme of the trip
pay, or we'll pay you to take another flight? We'll rebook you. And I'm like, if they can give me first class today, I will wait. Because, I mean, we're not going home to any. We're going to land at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, I was going to say you were flying in the morning, right?
So we don't care. Yeah. So I'm like, see if we can do it. So Daryl looks, he goes, there's no flights. We would be stuck here for one night at least. And you can't guarantee first class. And I'm like, yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can.
Yes, you can. And so he looks, and then they upped it to $1,200. And they're like, and if you're with somebody, they get $1,200 too.
Wow.
And we'll rebook you.
That's freaking Hawaii.
And I'm like, oh, that's so good. But I'm like, I mean, if we can't fly out tonight, I don't want to do it.
Why?
Because I just didn't want to.
Yeah.
We were done. I was done.
You were over it.
I'd run out of clothes. And
you were ready to go home.
I was ready to go. So we didn't do it, but they did. Somebody took it. It was
Hell
great.
yeah.
Someone took it. So we get on the plane, we're sitting, and everything's cool. Again, we're delayed a little bit. So it's like 10 minutes.
I think that's pretty normal these days.
It is. And so we're sitting there, and I'm just chilling. And at least it's not hot. And the seats were a little bit nicer. Yeah. And so we were just chilling and waiting. And there's a man sitting in front of us in the aisle seat. And he starts going,
oh, God. This would be my husband.
He's all,
and all of a sudden everyone's like, he was trying not to.
And then
he's
finally,
like, God, please don't let me have a cough attack right
finally,
here.
He just decides to let it go.
Well, because he's like, I have to do it or it's never going to stop.
Now, I think
I would have ran for the lavatory.
I think, we're still boarding.
Oh, okay.
So he can't do anything, really.
He's stuck.
And so the woman sitting next to him probably was his daughter. I couldn't tell.
Thank God.
But
because if she was a stranger, I would have been like,
well, the person sitting across from him on the other aisle, she's like our mother's age. She puts her book down, she stops, and she slowly turns and looks at him.
You're not allowed to have a bodily function in here, don't you know?
He goes, well, I thought I'd be getting water by now. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, where's the water from the shop that you could have picked up?
Who doesn't bring water?
I do.
We all must have.
I immediately buy water.
That's the only thing. I'm like, if I have nothing else on this flight,
I got a bottle of water from water. I paid $8 for it. I don't care.
I don't give a shit.
I'm not drinking the water from the plane.
And it's good.
I want my own water.
Yeah, and I don't know what about it. Plain air is much drier.
It's so dry.
I don't know why.
Circulating.
Okay.
So anyway, he's like, well, I thought I'd have water by now. And I'm like, oh, God.
Was this the first time you've ever traveled, sir?
So she turns and she goes, I have grandchildren. They cough all the time. And I'm like, well, I don't know how that relates, but okay.
She's basically saying, like, I have a high tolerance for coughing. I'm used to it.
Kind of, except she turned and she's
except
like,
for you're
what?
annoying because you're not my grandchild.
And you're 100 and you know the difference.
Yeah. And sir, if you've never, I mean, seriously, like, is this your first flight?
The lady turns.
Where's your fucking water?
She goes, I've offered him ginger cough drops. I have a lozenge. And he's just like, I don't want a cough drop. And I'm like, what do doing?
Just take the goddamn cough drop.
He's a child.
I know it's not ideal at this moment, but it's all you have.
He's literally being surrounded by women, and they're like offering him all these fix-its. He's like, I just want the water. Send the fire. I'm like, God,
where's your wife?
And of course, Daryl turns to me and he's like, you have earphones, you know.
Just
you can just put the earphones on. I'm like, why? I just love being irritated and angry.
I can't.
Until 9 a.m. It's 9 o'clock in the goddamn morning.
See, that's what I was telling you on the first flight. I'm like, the distraction is imperative.
It's so key.
It's the only thing you can do.
And the thing is humans are going to human.
I mean, you know, and I do have some empathy for people that go through because it's. I told you about the time I had to poo on a plane.
I know.
I wanted to die. I can't even tell you how much I wanted to die.
I'm so sorry.
I couldn't.
I'm so sorry.
And I squeezed my butt as hard. It was not, I was like, no, you're not doing it. I don't care. I swear to God, I had rockets in my gut.
I will tell you.
My body's like, oh, you're doing this. You think you're not, bitch? You're absolutely. You're sitting on a toilet. How do you think you're going to control it while you're
not.
peeing?
It's over. Your anus went, we're going.
And I'm like, no. I thought for sure I could compartmentalize the pee because the pee was so real.
Yeah, you thought
I couldn't even, you get to that point where you can't think.
Nope, and it's all systems go. Then they're like, oh well, if you're gonna pee, we're gonna poo.
Sitting on the, but yeah, because my stomach was like raging already.
Yeah,
but I'm like, I don't care if you're fucking raging. It's an hour flight.
You can't. Make
You will use the freaking airport toilet when we get off the plane.
I will say that I definitely.
My body's like.
Per the usual, I struggled with going number 2 when I travel. I just cannot.
That's what I'm telling you. Like me too.
Cannot. And then
the fact that I was doing it on an airplane,
I know.
I was doing it on a tiny jet.
Morning of
I was the last person to board the plane, and I sit next to a 300-pound large man.
Oh my God!
Everything about it.
You're like, this is not me. You almost make an announcement like, this is not who
I wanted to.
Yeah.
And then you have to come out of the bathroom.
Oh dear Lord! Did you get applause?
It was so shrouded in shame.
Don't you wish that was the mask wearing days where you could just put a mask on and just sit down?
Oh my God. I just sat down. I just wanted to die. Like I literally wanted to die. I could not get that. Yeah. I'm so grateful it was an hour flight.
Oh dear God. Yeah. Because by the time you go up, they're going down already. Like literally ascending.
I was recognizing things as we were,
lovely.
This was happening.
You're like, this is almost over. This is just the most shameful thing on the planet.
It was literally the most shameful thing.
So sorry.
Somebody probably wrote about me on social media.
Probably
there was this lady, and she was late, and then she went diarrhea. We could all smell it. She thought we couldn't, but we could. Lady, if you're reading this, you don't eat before you get on a plane, dumbass. I'm like, I didn't.
You're making me Muttley laugh. Stop it.
But I know.
Oh my God.
I would have written about the lady.
Oh God. It's
I would have been like, really, lady? I would have been making all kinds of judgments about why she did what she did. Completely not knowing, what I had been through.
It's true.
And when you get home, then you know exactly how long it's going to take.
Yes. So
and you're like,
I walk in the door and I go
practically home.
I walk in the door. I'm like, I have to pee. And I run upstairs. Immediately, and I'm
quiet of my own bedroom,
3 inner sanctum doors shut, and I'm finally going. Anyway,
and by the time you're done, you're like, now I can put on like different clothes.
Oh my God,
and I can be ugly.
I need to just strip off the day, immediately.
God, but it's well worth it. But I do get it. Why are we always so happy to be home? This is why I tell people, like I always take the day off after I've traveled because you need a day.
You really do need the day.
Like you're so tired from having fun and traveling.
I had a blast. I loved it, but like I was really ready to go home for real.
I
was really ready to go.
That was a longish trip for you.
It was a longish
considering
trip.
that Daryl was a work trip.
Yeah. Oh, and here, get this. He's going to Chicago in a few weeks, and I'm going.
Oh, you are?
I'm going back to the Midwest.
Oh, my God.
It's Chicago.
Jamie, there are so many amazing places. And by the way,
we're staying at a fancy hotel.
Oh, everything about Chicago's fancy,
so
actually.
Excited.
If you are so inclined.
We're going to a game. We're going to Wrigley Field.
You're going to a Bears game?
No.
Cubs.
Yeah. Well, no.
But there are the Chicago Bears. Yes. I was just thinking
and
wrong,
then the
wrong
Cubs.
Sport.
The Cubbies. Yeah.
What's his name? Rick Bayless has several very nice.
We are trying to figure out what nice restaurant to go to. There's so
Frontera
many. Wait, what is it?
It's called Frontera.
Okay.
But he has others too.
Oh, well, look, we were trying,
and they're
to
all right
it
there
out.
in that expensive in the Chicago Mile.
We were trying to figure it out because there's just so many options. There's that one super like ridiculously fancy one. I think it's called Alinea.
Oh. You're going to struggle. Yeah.
We're not going to even be there that long. So it's like, we're going to have an option to have maybe 1 or maybe 2 dinners.
If you're lucky. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to fly in. And I'm so excited. The only thing that I'm not going to have time for is any museums or anything. I won't have time for that because Daryl's working. And somebody is going to be squiring us about. So we will have a little tour guide.
Nice.
His colleague is going to be like,
well, if you have any of your own time, and I don't know if you will,
I think I'll have a day. Yes.
The shopping is phenomenal.
I'm just so excited.
I'm telling you, that strip of the Chicago, I think they call it the Chicago Mile. I can't remember, but I stayed there with Joel many times. That's where I got pregnant with Lauren, as a matter of fact, because it's so
romantic.
It was so cold.
Oh,
we were there in January.
There's nothing else to do.
It was 20 below, and it felt like 100 below.
We're staying inside.
Freezing. Yeah. I'm like, oh hell no.
Well, our mom, I told her
there's a Bloomingdale's. I mean, literally everything.
A long time ago, I said, I think Daryl and I are going to go to Chicago at some point. And she's like, don't go. And I'm like, why? She goes, I would rather die than go back to Illinois.
It's like the goddamn tundra.
She's like,
it's so
you think
fucking
know cold? She goes, it hits your marrow.
Jamie, it's freezing.
And you do.
Well, that was the only time I ever went there in the winter. I've been there.
People go out when it's 32 degrees thinking it's warm and they get frostbite.
It's so true.
Because they forget. They're like, oh, it's actually still freezing out here.
It's literally the most miserable cold I've ever experienced.
That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard.
But it is such a beautiful city. Yeah, you're going in June, and it is an amazing city. And it's one of those places that I've always wished to go back to, even though I have no reason to go there at all. Well, I would go there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited. I've been through the airport. I've never been in Chicago.
Love it.
And it's where we have ancestry there.
You will love it. You will love it. I know you, and I know you will love it. The culture, everything you'll love. Yeah.
Yes. In fact, I said, our mom grew up on the south side of Chicago. And they're like, oh, are you going to go there?
Hell no.
There's a woman that I game with, and she lives in Illinois, and we might meet up actually. And I said, both she and I at the same time went, no, you don't go to the south side of Chicago.
That's like saying you're going to go to the slums in New York.
Would you like to go to Compton? No.
Just think about it this way, honey. This is a side of Chicago that the kids have never seen. That's good.
Yeah. So I don't think it's safe for anyone who doesn't live there to just go and sightsee.
If anybody else knows these little random things we say.
I think so. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if they don't, then they learn something new.
Well, I mean, or they just think I'm weird. I'm like, I just quoted Vacation the movie, but if you don't know that,
people
then
know.
Like,
I'm sure they do. There's a lot of things I say.
He just strapped his dead mother to a lawn chair in the backyard. Sorry.
What do you want me to do?
I don't want to get stuck in an inquest and all that. Clark, you are the most. Don't say anything you're going to regret, Helen.
I love that movie. It's so good.
I've been watching it because it's in my DVD player, and if I can't get the internet to work in the kitchen, I'm like, I guess
I'll just watch Vacation.
Again.
Ding, 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 ding,
and then Jerry comes in and stands there. I'm like, what? He's like, well, what? I'm like, get out! You're watching Vacation. You've seen it 1 billion times.
As have I.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. Well, thank you for listening, and we will be back next time with another show.
Bye. Please, God, I hope you recorded that.
We did.